A lot of y'all finna feel how we been feeling all these years, cause Trump new bill came into effect on the 1st, and he cutting $2 million y'all off stamps. Now mind y'all, when y'all started acting funny with us and didn't want to, sell your yamps, we let y'all live. We didn't say anything. When people started acting funny with me, I was like, okay, I chalked up to the chin. I just had to balance my money and redo my budget. I couldn't buy the things I wanted to buy. Now y'all finna feel how we feel. We don't want y'all get on here crying, asking for no CAs, because we been doing this for years. Y'all have fun at the grocery store, because we going to be looking at y'all when y'all be in the line, and y'all be asking us, do you got? No, we don't got a thing. Rethink your choices. Learn your lesson. The next time you need me, I ain't gonna be there. Okay?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gag with Geach. I am your boy Geach. And y'all listen, that young lady, she basically said, she knew people that had food stamps, and when she wanted to buy a couple of their food stamps to kind of help herself out, they told her no, they didn't want to sell their food stamps, and rightfully so, because you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But she said now that the food stamps being cut, don't come over here trying to ask me for help, because when I wanted a little bit of extra help, you didn't want to sell me nothing. Here's another one of the food stamp foolishness. This is part 5, and let's get back into the rest of the video.
Let's talk about why people getting cut off of food stamps don't just affect people on SNAP, that it affects all of our asses. When people lose access to food, it causes desperation. And desperate people make desperate choices. If you ain't never had to worry about where your next meal gonna come from or how the hell you gonna feed your kids, and all of a sudden you do, imagine what you will or won't do. Imagine that kind of pressure. It is going to push people towards things that they would never normally do. Crime is going to rise, theft in grocery stores is going to go up, and people who ain't never had to live off of beanies and weenies and oodles and noodles, they might just themselves over this. And guess who's going to cover those costs? And I'm not just talking about the higher prices at the register. I'm talking about the peace of mind. I'm talking about having to dash your ass to your car with your grocery bags out of fear that somebody's going to knock your head off for a loaf of bread. It's not about hunger. It's about survival. And when survival is threatened, then the community pays the price. So when you think that food stamps being cut doesn't affect you, think again. A hungry neighbor creates ripples that affects us all. But comment below, what do you think? Should we be cutting, supporting, or finding better solutions?
I think that was the perfect segue into the next point. Comment below and drop a gag down in the comments and let me see what y'all think. It is kind of a trickle down effect, and I think she used kind of an extreme example. If things get hard for somebody, if their food stamps got cut and then they see you walking out of the grocery store and you got bags of food, they're gonna knock you over your head just to take your food. Like I said, I feel like that's a very extreme example, but I kind of get where she's coming from. It is a trickle down effect, but listen, we all out here feeling it. This economy, everybody is feeling it, and people still have beef with, if you able-bodied and you able to work and you don't want to go to work, taxpayers are tired of supporting you because they feel like you can still go get you a job. It's a lot of people out here that get food stamps and they absolutely don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. So I think that's what people got beef with.
Oh, and to the 1,000 and some people that unfollowed me this year, don't come back now. They done started cutting people on EBT, aka food stamps already. Remember how we thought it was a game and we thought it was well, I didn't. Remember how y'all thought it was a game and y'all thought it was a joke? Actually, it has already begun. It has begun. So when I was telling y'all to go ahead and start your garden, start your food forest, start your farms and all that using the EBT, y'all didn't want to listen to me. So to them 1,000 and some people that unfollowed me, I wish I knew who you were so I could block you, because now you're going to really wish you stayed on my page. But I got some big news for everybody else that has been so supportive. I got some big news for y'all today. Like, seriously, I just got to do the finishing touches on everything and buckle down. But I'm excited. It's my time, y'all. time to teach y'all. Y'all got no choice but to listen now.
I'm over here at the store, y'all. And, you know, they done cut a bitch's food stamp short, right? But y'all know I ain't the only one, and I know it's bad. When all the chip mates is gone, but you got a full variety of these bitches right here. But the chip mates is gone. 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 Damn. Y'all couldn't leave a bitch just one pack of chip mates? Y'all know we struggling out here.
So I'm going to speak on the topic of the food stamps that, you know, everybody posting about. You know, a lot of single parents, they are upset about it because their food stamps have been. This is just my think piece on it because, like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with who voted for who. But this has been my mindset since my early 20s. Now, I am not no better than any other single mother out there. My kids are now grown. They're about to be 21 and 19. I just turned 40 this. I was on food stamps and I was on Section. The thing about it is I worked as a CNA full-time and I still qualified for those assistance. Now, let's rewind the clock back. When I was getting food stamps, Section 8, and my daughter was also getting SSI because as an infant, she was diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension. So my daughter was getting a check. I had just moved to the coast. And I think, you know, after me and my neighbor, you know, was having conversations and I told her about my daughter getting SSI. And you know what the first thing that she said that came out of her mouth? She was like, well, if she getting SSI and you on Section 8, you getting food stamps, why are you working? Now, this was my think piece in my early 20s. I said, because the government can take that stuff anytime they get ready. They can cut her check off anytime they get ready. They can cut the Section 8 off at any time when they get ready. They can cut the food stamps off at any time when they get ready. So me, I always held down a job. Now, yes, like I said, I was that parent with no support system. I was working night shift at the hospital. And my kids, when they got a certain age, because I lived 2 minutes away from the hospital, they was at home by themselves at night. Call me what you want. I don't give a damn, but I did what I had to. And on my lunch breaks, I would come and check on them. They was in bed. They got themselves off to school. Now, I'm not in any way saying that that was okay for me to do, but I did what I had to do. Me working night freed up time in the daytime. If they got sick at school, all they had to do was call me. I can go get them. If my kids had appointments or if I had doctor's appointments, I could just take them. I don't have to take off of work or none of that. So I'm not promoting leave your kids at home. We all was latchkey kids coming up. But what I'm saying is, as parents, we gonna do what we have to do to survive. So y'all out there, I know it's jobs out there. Like I said, I ain't judging because I had got that assistance, but I have always. And there are so many ways of getting a bag. By me working as a CNA for as long as I have been working, and I started TikTok Shop back in 2023 when it first started. When I say TikTok Shop, not only was I able to completely just pay my bills and my checks just be my checks, because yes, I still work that. It has helped me put my daughter through school. Now, I know we're still on probation with TikTok, and I'm going to grind it out until I can't grind it out no more. But I'm just here to say, y'all, do what y'all got to do for y'all kids.
The last lady, she basically just said she had food stamps, but she was working as a CNA, and she did what she had to do. I think a lot of people would give her a pass. I don't think, like I said previously, I don't think people's beef is with those that are getting food stamps and they're trying to work and they're not being lazy. They're still getting up and go to work, but they may need a little extra assistance. I think people's beef is those people that are able-bodied that do not want to work. You just want a free ride. You want a free ride off the taxpayers' money. If there are a lot of us who get up every day, go to work, whether it's you go to the building physically or you work from home. It don't matter. You clocking in, you getting some money, you pay your taxes. And they can't get help, but there's able-bodied people that's perfectly capable of working, but they just don't want to work. They just want to be lazy. Nobody's dealing with that no more. People are over that. So that's why a lot of people are cheering on these food stamp cuts. And I'll talk to people. It don't matter. Like I tell you all the time, this is a nonpartisan channel. I don't care who you voted for. That's your personal business. Everybody's welcome over here, you know, as long as you're respectful with it. But I've heard it from both sides of the house. Democrat, Republican, Independent. Everybody feels the same way. I feel like this is one topic that everybody comes together on, at least from what I heard. If you've heard differently and you feel differently, feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know how you feel about it. But People are just tired of folks being lazy. Again, like I said, that last young lady, she said she was working, grinding, doing what she had to do to take care of her children. And she was getting some extra work, some extra help from the government with the food stamps, but she was getting up and going to work. She was trying to better herself. I don't think people have a problem with that. It's the lazy people that are able-bodied, that don't want to do anything, that people got beef with, and everybody is over it.
Now, I'm so glad you young ladies are seeing now what's going on was really real with these food stamps. So many women are in an uproar about their food stamps and how they're going to feed their children because you have so many of them. And then you look at this TikTok app and you see how these men downrating y'all and talking about if y'all hadn't had all these children and what do you expect? And not once have they came to y'all rescue and said something like this. Well, if the baby dads need to stand up and help these women take care of their children. Nah, they ain't gonna speak up for you. They just gonna talk about y'all and how stupid y'all was for having kids by these men. They gonna tell y'all something like this. You should have picked the right men. You should have had better choices men. But I'm gonna tell you this. Now you're learning to keep your legs closed. Stop letting these jokers sleep with you, impregnate you, and now you making videos because you can't afford to feed them. And guess what them jokers doing? Out there spreading somebody else's legs, doing the same thing, and making videos about you and how you should have made the right choices in men. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you facts. Stop sleeping with these jokers now. And I'm glad the government doing what they doing. These men gonna be hurt, because you women gonna see what's going on now when you don't get no help. You think you ain't get no help from the man, your baby daddies. Boy, look what's going on now, because the government cutting everything out. And I just made a video, God dog, they even cutting the Job Corps. Stop sleeping with these men, and then they can't make no videos. They gonna start making videos about how hard it is with them working 2 jobs because they got to take care of family and their kids and step up to the plate. I want to see these videos when these men start talking about how hard they got to work when you women stop opening y'all legs. That's what I want to see.
This video goes out to all the people that went out and voted for Donald Trump. Especially all you people receiving EBT, Medicaid, food stamps. Y'all voted for Donald Trump, and now, guess what? We got to go back to work. To qualify for EBT and food stamps, you have to be working 30 hours a week.
As you should.
I got 5 kids. I can't work 30 hours a week. Who's going to take care of my kids? Y'all done fucked around and found out, now fucked it up for everybody. You mean to tell me I got to go back to work and I got 5 kids?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's going to take care of these 5 kids?
You are. You figured it out. That's our family.
I got $72 to last me on this EBT card, and then it's done, and I got to find a job. So, thanks a lot, and fuck you to anybody that voted for Donald Trump. Shame on you. Now we got to go back to work. What am I going to do?
Listen, she ain't dealing with it. She is over it. She said y'all done messed it up for everybody. Now she got to go back to work. She mad with Donald Trump and all that stuff. You know what? Like I said, don't matter who you vote for. Everybody from each party, whether you're Democratic, Republican, whatever, everybody who I've heard speak on this situation, they all agree with Trump on this one. Now, some people say it's accountability. Trump is holding everybody accountable. No, if you're able-bodied, you're going to get up and work. It's not fair to the people who don't get food stamps and they got to get up and go to work every day and they still got to find a way to feed their families and make ends meet. So this lady here, she said y'all done messed it up for everybody. Y'all messed it up for everybody because you voted for Donald Trump. She is not with that. She ain't feeling it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Do y'all agree with her and that people messed it up by voting for Donald Trump? So now they got to get their food stamps cut. And are you with her? Are you angry because your food stamps getting cut because, y'all blaming Donald Trump for that because he's holding people accountable and no, you going to get up and go to work, or do you disagree with that?
Tell you how the Big Beautiful Bill will affect food stamps, also known as the SNAP program, and when these changes will come into effect, because not all of them are going to happen right away. The Big Beautiful Bill will reduce nutrition funding, which includes the SNAP program, by $186 billion, billion with a B, by the year 2034. This program will also force states to shoulder at least 5% of the SNAP benefits costs starting in the year 2028. This is deliberate. I'm going to get to this in a minute. Currently, the program is 100% federally funded and has been since its creation in 1939. States will be forced to find millions, even billions of extra dollars in their budget, or be forced to leave the SNAP program entirely, cutting off millions of Americans from this vital assistance. In addition to this, more than 5 million Americans will be cut from SNAP benefits due to the new work provision requirements. This is only going to harm children, veterans, disabled individuals, and seniors who live off of these benefits. The work provision requirements state that you need to work or volunteer at least 20 hours per week in order to qualify for your benefits. Currently, these work requirements apply to people between the ages of 18 and 54 as long as they don't have any dependents or disabilities. But the Big Beautiful Bill has raised this age range to include individuals up to the age of 64, as well as required parents with children over the age of 14 to meet these work requirements. If parents fail to meet the work requirements and lose their SNAP benefits, their children will still qualify for and receive their SNAP benefits. Roughly 900,000 people in this age group will be affected. Veterans, people experiencing homelessness, and previous foster youth must also now meet these work requirements. About 270,000 individuals will be affected by this. Around 600,000 individuals may lose some of their monthly SNAP benefit amount due to changes in how utility expenses are calculated. This bill also limits SNAP eligibility to U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents only. Previously, certain immigrants, refugees, people seeking asylum, survivors of domestic violence, and victims of trafficking were able to qualify for SNAP benefit. They no longer qualify. Because of the Big Beautiful Bill, more people will have to work or volunteer in order to meet these qualifications and in order to keep their life-saving benefits. People who were previously exempt from these benefits will now have to prove that they meet the work requirements in order to keep said benefits. States can now only waive work requirements in areas that have an unemployment rate of over 10%. This makes it much harder for states to help people who cannot find work. Around 1.1 million people who live in high unemployment areas will now no longer qualify for waivers. Child nutrition programs such as school meals and summer electronic benefits transfer, which provide families with the funds to afford their children's lunches during the summer months, will also suffer at SNAP benefit funding cuts. This bill will also eliminate SNAP Ed, which is the primary funding source for City Harvest nutrition and education programming. This program teaches people the skills and knowledge to prepare nutritious, budget-friendly meals with the free produce that SNAP provides. These food aid cuts will also lead to job losses and hit gross domestic product by state. Trump's bill puts 40 million Americans at greater risk of food insecurity. I'm gonna say that one more fucking time. The Big Beautiful Bill puts 40 million Americans at greater risk of food insecurity. If you currently receive SNAP benefits, they are unlikely to change immediately. New work requirements and utility allowance cuts could go into effect right away, but states will still need time to update their systems.
All right, everybody, I appreciate y'all for tuning into another episode of Gag with Geeks with me on my Food Stamp Foolishness series. Y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel on today's video. That last young lady, she gave a bunch of good information. Like I said, I don't feel like people have a problem with those that get food stamps who actually need it. I think people's beef is those that are able-bodied can go to work, but are choosing not to work and are choosing to ride the system. But anyway, y'all drop down in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next video.